I've known her for a long, long, long time. We used to paint together at my house. She's a watercolor teacher and she offers commissions of your pets, not people, pets. Although I think we could maybe use these eyes for people. And she does commissions for pets. And she's a master at pets. So, Georgia, already.
As you can tell,
Yeah.
I love animals. I mean, I brought enough of them to prove it, you know. I paint in watercolors mainly this last couple of years, but I do paint in oils also. But I didn't bring any oils because this is a watercolor meeting, right? And I wanted today to kind of show you how to start a painting. We won't be able to get it done. And do the eyes and go from there. This is my latest one. I brought just one framed. This is my latest one I just finished. And I brought it so I could show you the different kind of eyes, which are kind of fun to do when you can change them out and play with them. So I gave the black kitty the orange kitty's color, and then the blue kitty for the background, and then the blue-eyed for the blue cat. So anyway, it was kind of fun. It's called Stacked Cats. How's that? Anyway, all right. And then once in a while, I'll get kind of crazy. This is a couple of years old, and have a little fun with color. As you can see, my sign says "Fun with Color" because I just love color. And I've been painting ever since my divorce, 29 years ago now. Woo-hoo-hoo, busted. And I really think I wouldn't be painting for the divorce. Honest to God, that's terrible.
Everyone contributes something.
Yes, yes. And I moved from California to Oregon to get away from all of that behind me. And I was only there a week, and this lady and I met because she was having kind of an art show, and we started talking. Her name was Ruthie. And I told her, I used to paint. She says, what do you mean you used to paint? And she shook my arm, and she said, get back to it. Isn't that cute? I thought that was the cutest. Anyway, Ruthie was her name. So I'll tell you a little bit about the wild colors. So you can see a lot of my colors are kind of wild. Has anyone tried the Pyro Orange? Ooh, busted. It's wonderful. And Pyro Red, they're two wonderful colors. But my favorite two colors of all is Opera. Everyone paint with Opera? Yeah, okay. And Indigo. Yeah. And you mix those two together, you get the most beautiful purple on this earth. It's just gorgeous. And I use indigo instead of black. I don't use black. I never use black. And the reason I use indigo is because when you paint with indigo and it stays permanent more or less, where the other blacks, like what's the one that, lamp black, it'll lay flat. And it changes your painting. So the indigo is wonderful to use. If you've not tried it with your animals and with the eyes and stuff, it really is great. And let's see, I guess I could just kind of get started. Here's what I'm going to try to show you how I paint. This has been sitting in an envelope for a year. I've been trying to get to it. So I finally thought, hey, I'll get to it today. So anyway, the thing, but I squirt my paint before I start. Everybody's different, right? That makes the world go round. Okay, so I kind of want to show you how to do eyes today also, but I kind of need to get into the painting to give it a little shape. So I won't put my background in until I get further along. But has anyone tried the squirrel brush? You're laughing, yeah. It's wonderful for backgrounds. Yeah. It doesn't leave lines. Yeah. You can do it gorgeous. Just try it. If you don't have one, borrow one to find out because they are expensive. Most of mine were gifts, Christmas gifts. Squirrel, yeah. Isn't that mean? You take the hair from a squirrel and really use it. Well, it took me a while to get used to it, but I did it. Okay, so get my brushes out here. Different brushes for different things. But the main ones that I usually use. I use a pointed brush more than I ever used to, but I use it a lot now. Okay, so see this kitty cat to me is orange. I know you probably see the gold and stuff, but to me he's more orange. Guess what color I'm using? Pyro red. And I'll put a little bit of cad yellow in it to soften it down a little bit so it's not quite so bright. I mean, I like bright colors, but you got to be a little realistic a little bit, right? So I'm mixing that, and I'm going to kind of go in here and get him wet just to get some color down, and then we'll get to his eyes and stuff. And let me know when it's time for me to be okay, right? Because I'll probably take all day if you let me. Okay. I'm going to use my squirrel brush to get this wet on here. And I do paint watercolors up like this a lot, or down on my lap. Yeah, I don't paint down unless I'm sitting, you know. And it also depends on the painting too. Okay. Now on this little guy, it's going to be hard to get the white in there, so I'm going to probably use acrylic for the whites. I probably won't get to that today, just to let you know, or a nice opaque piece of white if you can get it. I don't know about everybody else. When that opaque white, you have to put it on about 3 times before it to stay. Anybody else have that problem with it? Yeah. Okay. And I'm a messy painter, so I'll be careful. I won't splash on you. Okay, so I'm getting this orange back in the background here, and I got a little too much here. Oh,
sorry. Yeah, it's all.
I have a light. Ooh. Okay, all right. Okay, so I'm just kind of getting some color underneath here because that's the color I see most in the kitty cat. It just gives me a little, oops, I don't, shh, you didn't see that, right? Okay, and so some of him has got a lot of white in it, so I kind of leave that around too. But I kind of like to get the color kind of in there, then I kind of go for the eyes. Gives me this one's got a lot of shadows. I thought that was kind of dramatic, kind of fun. If anyone else wants to try this painting, I can send you a picture of it. Okay? How many do animals in here? Anybody paint? I know you do. Yeah? Okay, yeah, all right. Not enough of you. Okay, so I'm just getting my color in here, just kind of getting him. And I think his ears are a little big, so I'm going to go a little smaller. I drew it a little bit bigger. Before we get too far along, let that dry a little bit. Trying to get the orange under where I see the bottom. And this is my kind of a squirrel bus. It is. Yeah, it is a squirrel. The smallest one I have. I want to get a set of them, but they're very expensive. Maybe I'll find a rich man somewhere. Huh? Those days are out of, not even in my mind. Okay. Now, a lot of cats, more than you think, have that M. Can you see the M on there? Almost all of them do, except what is the cat? The Siamese cat, because he's so white. But most cats have that. It's amazing. Yeah. I'm kind of been painting a lot of cats lately. Okay. All right. So now I'm going to go in for these eyes. And these eyes have got a lot of light shining in them. So there won't be a whole lot of color. We keep it really, really bright light. I mean, white light. Okay. So he's got blue eyes and green eyes. What do you think? Yeah. Okay. So I'm going to put a little light green in here first. And I've got a permanent green that I really like. Boy, I love Daniel Smith's color. Does anyone know if that's a woman or a man? Is it? Okay, because that's a name for both men and women. I just want to bet her colors are gorgeous. Not for beginners, but beautiful. Okay, so I'm going to put just a really washed color. Yeah, it's going to be hard to see. There's blue in this, and then there's green down at the bottom. So.
So did you mix it, or you're only using?
No, I'm just using it's permanent green is what I'm using, and Daniel Smith's green. I like a lot of her colors. They're beautiful. And I understand that she can't do the Kodakadome colors anymore. Have you heard that? I was shocked. Yeah. Yeah, I think it's because of the chemical that's in it, I think. Yeah. Isn't that amazing? Just did anybody know or remember Cheap Joe? Okay, you know, he passed away about a year ago, and he didn't continue the business, or his family didn't. And he is the only one that I was ever able to buy pure red from. If you get a hold of him, companies might be selling off for stuff. I'm going to have to check. It's called Joe's Red. And anyway, I thought he was a neat man. He was the one that introduced me to opera. If you spent $50, you got a little teeny tube of opera. You remember that? I'm aging myself now. But anyway, that's how I got introduced to opera. I went nuts after that. Nuttier, I guess is the word, yeah. Okay, so I'm going to take a little bit of soft blue, and I like her horizon blue. Yeah, that's pretty close to it, yeah. I use a lot of straight colors. I don't mix, except for when I get into the fur, I'll put burnt sienna in it, and I use pretty straight. And then I'll do glazing over a lot of it. I know we're not gonna be able to do all that today, but okay. So this is blue, and I think it's Verizon. Let me test it. It certainly is, Ollie. Okay, so I'm gonna go and do some soft blue, and in here, because you got to keep it soft because the light's really hitting the eye. Ordinarily, I do darker eyes like these cats, see how dark their eyes are? But this one, the light's coming through, so I can't do too heavy on it. That's kind of why I wanted to do it. It was something different than I'd ever done before. So, a little bit more color. Don't be afraid of color. Pour it on there. Okay, there's a lot of shadows in the eyes, but we still have to have that color underneath to get this shape going here. You don't see this now, okay? I didn't do that. Okay. So I'm going to kind of keep that a little darker here, but not too dark because this is going to be the sun's right in his eye or lights, whatever. I haven't decided if it's sun or lights. Okay. A lot of people think, of course, all of us are watercolors, we know better, that watercolor is supposed to be the toughest. I believe, watching my mother paint all these years and stuff, I think watercolor is the foundation of all the colors, personally. Because once you get watercolor, I think you can do any other medium, really. Personally. Made my oils paintings quite easy. But anyway, my mom, love her to death, she's no longer with us. There were 10 of us. I was the oldest, shortest, not the fattest anymore. And she used to get up in the middle of the night. And I slept on the couch because we only had so many bedrooms for 10 kids, you know. And she'd get up and go in the dining room and set her paintings up like at 1, 2 o'clock because everybody else was asleep, and paint. And she painted in oils mainly. She did do watercolors and pen and ink. They were beautiful. And then I could hear her, and I can still hear that in my heart, you know. She was a wonderful painter. Now she became even a judge. They sought her out for judging, which was great, huh? Okay, so can you kind of see the difference in the colors here? One's kind of got a little green happening, and the bottom is more blue. Okay. Okay, I'm going to let that dry just a little bit like that. I have a student who brings the fan to dry. Not a bad idea, because the hair dryer lightens the color. Has anyone else found that out? It just lightens it, yeah. Okay.
I'm always amazed when you leave a painting overnight to dry that you've been painting on, and you get up in the morning and you look at it sometimes and it's not what you left on it.
Isn't that the truth? I leave my paintings in the front room, and so I can walk by it all the time and analyze it as I'm going. I think it's kind of fun, but then you kind of get disappointed sometimes. So you have to put it away for a while. Was it Picasso? Wasn't the one? Didn't he turn all his paintings around and facing the wall, leave them for a year, and then come back? Isn't he the one that did that? think so. Anyway, that's interesting. Okay, I'm waiting for this to kind of dry a little bit, but I don't need to wait. Now, when it comes to skin tone for kitty cats, doggies, mainly more dogs because their skin tone's darker, I use alizarin and burnt sienna in different degrees of whichever color. And then sometimes with this kitty, I'll make it more, because his nose is pretty pink with a touch of orange in it. I'll use probably this time opera, my favorite color, and a little bit of orange. This is something new I've only just started doing, and I love it. But with most dogs, you'll see under their skin, you see that burnt reddish look. It's burnt sienna and alizarin. And it took me a long time to get that, but it was really great for the dogs. Okay, and it's very light because the lights are really hitting him. So I'm gonna put his little nosy poo in here. I talk to my paintings. Yes. They don't talk back. Okay, I got that just a little too dark there.
They do with that problem.
Okay, and with this cat, he's actually got a lot of white in his front here. And there are two colors I use to make the white be white. And because it's hard sometimes to keep an animal white. The only two colors I've found that work is purple and some sort of blue. You can really see it in this painting. It's really obvious. So to keep your whites white, those are the two colors I find works the best. See, I did that with these cats. Put a little purple in there to make it work. Quite a bit, actually, with this kitty here. I put a lot of blue here to keep them white. Pardon? Oh, yeah. See, he still looks white with the blue underneath him for shadow. To think of it as shadows in the white. And the purple is really pretty, though, too. It works both ways. But this one's more of a bluish painting, so I'm not going to put purple in it. Okay. I'm trying to hurry yet. Let me know when you need to cut me off. Okay. All righty. And, okay. There we go. Yeah. Okay. I kind of like the Verizon. Verizon's almost opaque. It's pretty thick. It leans as close to opaque as you're going to get. So I have 3 students that I've been teaching for quite a while, and we used Verizon on a ship that we did, and then we used quinacridone burnt orange. That's a beautiful color. For a horse we did. So whenever we paint something that we need that color, so, oh yeah, that's the boat color. No, we don't remember the color of it. We just that's the thing we painted. We did a beautiful horse in quinacridone burnt orange. Beautiful color. Try it if you haven't tried it. How do you know until you try it, right? Try it, buy it. Isn't that the secret? Okay, now to make his poochiness here, you have to have a little shadow very softly around there to make it poochy. And over here a little bit, so that it stays like his little poochy cheek. I don't know what else to call it. That's what I've been calling it for years. Okay. And then underneath, you can make a little blue shadow. I can make it a little darker, I think. Little blue shadow. See, I've just draw the spots where I need that. And then his mouth comes out quite a ways here. I don't want to make him smile, but you know. I painted one dog that was smiling. That was kind of fun. I laughed the whole time I painted him. Oh, here's a little bit of shady shadow here. Okay. And then I'm going to go underneath the chin here. I'll put some more shadow in there later, but I'm trying to place it where it should be so I can see what's happening. Should stand back a little bit. Whoo, he's got big eyes, doesn't he? That's why I wanted to paint him, because of that. Yeah. There's always something that draws you to a painting, right? That you want to try. If you don't try it, you have nothing to lose.
I remember you telling me when I was painting animals always do the eyes a little bigger.
These are a little bit big. Yeah. Yeah, I remember that, Sharon. Neat. I've been painting with Sharon for a long time. God, Sharon, it's 15, I've been here 21 years. That's got to be 15, 16 years we painted, huh? And we paint together on Thursday still, huh? Other place, but it was fun. Hello.
Come on in.
Come on in, have a seat. Nice to see you.
Okay. Okay. So wherever I see shadows in the white, I just keep right up here. They'll have a little bit of shadow up there. And don't let anybody tell you if you make a mistake in watercolor, you can't correct it. You can. You just got to be tough. Okay, so I'm getting the white in here just to give him some fur so I can feel his personality a little bit. Okay, I think his eyes are getting, I know I'm not gonna be able to do everything, so I'm trying to get to the important things that are kind of important for a kitty cat. Okay, let's do his eyes now. I used to use a teeny brush, but now I've learned that the points is how hard you push it down and up, basically. It took me years to figure that out. The worst thing that ever happened to me as an artist is when I first started in Oregon, these watercolorists that I didn't know until after I'd taken lessons from, world famous. And one of them was somebody who had gotten the most awards in the Watercolor Society ever in the history. Alan something. Anyway, they taught me how to paint, and I just couldn't get it. I was tearing my art up. It was so bad. Finally, one lady came over and says, "Georgia, don't you know your compliments?" I said, "What are compliments?" I really did not know what compliments were. And you would think with my watching my mother and all that, I'd get it, and then I got so happy because it works. It really punches the other color you're putting it next to if you know your compliments. And when I teach, I don't let my students paint it first. They have to do the regular color wheel with just the 3 colors. And you'd be surprised how shocked they are when they see what happens with that. And then I give them, like Sharon's the one who gave this to me, to get the cool and warm of the blues, reds, and yellows, and mix that all together. But then I had one more thing to it. I have them also add opera, and it makes it sing. It brings the color to life. Try it on a chart. Just try taking those primary colors and putting opera in it. Oh man, it's like, ooh, a ray of sunshine. Try it just for fun. It is a lot of fun. Okay, so let's do the eyes. Now, this is where I go with my indigo. And now there's a red indigo, but that's not what you use. It's just I don't think the indigo says blue on it. It may. It does, okay. Because it is really the dark blue is what it really is. It's not. I think that's maybe a little too thick. Might have to get a little smaller one. Oh, this is better. Let's see. Yeah, that's sharp. Whoops. People are watching you, Georgia. Be careful. Okay. Okay, so taking straight indigo, and so make his eyes just pop. Okay, and then he's got a little bit of more skin showing on this side. So I'm going to start that. And I do also make a color and a black and white to get my values. It really does help. I don't look at it as much as I used to, but it does help. Gives you a good starting point. Okay. Oh, there's that black, ooh, which isn't black. And then up in here, can't see it, but I know it's there because we're going to be putting them. Okay, and then down here, his eyes. Okay. And then just lay your hand on here and just let your fingers do the walking. How's that? Okay. And over here, this isn't quite so dark. That's more blue, but all of this is really dark. So, and then I'll put some orange on the outer part of it to connect the eyes. See, already he looks better, huh? And that one's got more blue, so I'm not going to fool with that. But up here, okay. And then up in here. Okay. Okay. Okay, now, there is very rarely do I have a cat. I think I've had one other cat I painted. I don't see him here. Oh, and every Christmas I take an animal and put a Santa Claus on him. That's what that's the grumpy old cat. Remember years ago? He passed away a couple years back. But it's kind of a fun thing, kind of a tradition. Everybody asks me at Christmas, "Where's your Santa hat, kid, coming? When is he coming?" Okay, now that's the good black. And let me do the line in the eye because that makes the eye come alive. And then I'll do some shading around it and it'll pop. Okay. Now, when you do the eye, you don't do a straight line down the pupil. It's rounded because the eye is rounded. The same thing. I had some beginning students I taught. Was it in the back of this? Nope. Anyway, somewhere. Where'd I put it? Oh, I'll get it later if I can find it. Okay. Anyway, you think of it as this way, and on this eye, that way. I mean, it may not look like it to you, but it's really, really important. Or you'll get a flat-looking eye that maybe somebody hit him in the eye or something, you know. Okay, and it's always black. I've never done a Siamese. That's the only one of the few breeds I haven't done yet, and I can't wait to do one of that next. Okay, come on, get nervous here. Everybody's watching. Okay, all right. So right in here, start from up here and go down. There. Okay, can you see how it's a little bit curved? Not very much, just enough to give it the feel that the eye is rounded. Here, how's that? Nothing done yet, but we're getting there. Okay. Okay, so around his eyes, there's burnt sienna with orange. Ooh, almost out of burnt sienna. And orange, because this cat is orange, but the burnt sienna is kind of the shadowing of orange. So I see that right in here a lot. I want to get it in around the eyes. And his eye comes down. See, it's not dark enough. Maybe a little bit more burnt sienna. Okay. And you can see when you look at it that there's orange in that brown. Okay. And then up here above his eye is a little bit of orange. And get that right down to his eye. And it's a little, and then I soften the edge here so that I can combine it with the next color it's going to be there. Softening your strong edges are real important in animals, especially with the fur. Otherwise, you start to try to put some stripes to get hairline, it won't work. So when you're doing it around the face, you get that strong color in there, then you soften the edge outside. Okay? And then over here, it's got some of that color right here around his eye, which will give him his color that correspond with his fur. And we soften that edge so that we can combine it with the next color if it's going to be next to it, okay? Okay, so now I'm going to try to get that shadow so you guys can see what the eyes are going to look like. This is the most important part. It's their soul that you're looking at. You can't help it. It's the way they are. Okay, I'm going to take, I don't think that's not going to work. I'm going to take a little bit of, what color is that? What is the blue rainbow? I can't see my writing here. That's phthalo. Okay. Oh, peacock. I love peacock. I think it's a pretty color. Yeah, peacock. Excuse me?
That's a whole bean color.
Yes. Yeah. I think it Holbein or Holbein, I don't know which. And I'm going to put that with a little bit of phthalo and water it down. I'm not going to make it quite as dark as they show here. Okay, so this is kind of a glaze. You get it so it's transparent looking, okay? But not, so it's there's, when I teach, I think, I try to tell my students, you're either using a tomato soup thickness or you're using a chicken broth thinness. And then there's in between. But that's what I try and tell them. Then they can relate to it, you know. So at this point, we're kind of doing the in between, okay? And I'm going to take it and, okay, and do his shadow. Ooh, this is scary. Okay, okay. And I'm going to water it down so it's not quite as thick as you go down and get this shadow in his eye. Now, in this case, I'm probably going to go in with some, because I didn't leave the white, sorry, with some white acrylic with a touch of blue in it for here, okay? And because it's not really as white as most of them that I've painted, but because he's in the shadow, the white doesn't come up so strong, okay? Okay, then I'm going to put some black over this to get, so it's, okay, now there's a little line here that really gives us some character, so I'm going to put that over there. I'm going to make it a little stronger, a little more pointy there. Okay, I don't know, I think I need a little darker, but I'm going to do that later, darken it. Okay, and then over here, this shadow goes this way, and then this shadow goes down. Isn't that different? That's kind of why I like this painting, because it's got a lot of challenges in it. It's different than what I've been looking at. You know, you can't keep painting the same thing over and over. How boring, right? Okay. Okay, I'm going to go a little more phthalo on this. I didn't used to use phthalo until this last year, and I've really fallen in love with it. Because when I painted with phthalo the very first time in my life with oils, I didn't know it was so staining and so you can't get it off thing. And phthalo's really bad. So I was painting the seascape in oils, and I put this phthalo all over to, you know, and oh my God, I couldn't get it off. So guess what? That painting became a night painting. It was called Midnight Waves. Yeah. So you learn, right? Yeah, and that's part of the fun of the whole thing, I think, is learning from what you're doing. Okay, now this goes exactly with the line in his eyes, his pupil. If you want to call that a pupil, it's kind of, okay, there. Now I'm going to lighten it down at the bottom a little more. Okay. Oh, wow. That's different, huh? Yeah. Okay, I'm going to put a little more, and this is what happens as you paint. I think I'm going to put a little bit more green in there. You know, this is fine because you get started, and I think he needs, now I see more blue. What do? Okay, I think I'll wait and see it again. Now I'm going to take my indigo and make sure, and you know, you don't test the wet with your hand like this. You always test it on the back because this hand doesn't have the feeling that the top of it does.
And oil. Oil is on the palm.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, I think indigo into my blue that I was using here so that it'll correspond together and make that really dark shadow right under this eye in particular. Oh, I don't know, that might be a little too dark. Let me see. Well, I guess not. Yeah, okay. And then it kind of comes down to here, softening it so that it won't be so strong. Okay, then I'm coming down in here. Then I'm going to put darker lining up in here too to get the eye to look even darker. Okay. A little bit stronger line here with the color. Okay. And it actually, you look at it, it's got actually almost a shape of an egg. That's something that's kind of important. Think of shapes instead of lines. Shapes are much easier to do than lines. So I see like a shape of an egg there. And over here, I don't know what the shape of that is yet. So anyway, so I'm trying to leave that kind of a shape there. This is darker, a bit dark. Okay. 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 Okay, now I can see that there is a roundness in the eye. There's a line right there. So I'm going to take a little bit of green and a little bit of the blue and put right here. It'll give his eye a little more shape. A little too dark. With watercolor, that's safe. You can pick it up, right? Okay. Because it shapes his eye right there. And then I'm going to soften it some more. That's the beauty of watercolors, things you can do with it. Okay, is it beginning to look like eyes? I think I'm going to have to make his pupils darker. Is it time?
5 more minutes.
5 more minutes. Ooh, let's see. Okay. Okay, so then I'm going to darken the pupils because I don't think they're showing up enough. Can you guys see it from back there? The pupils much? A little bit. Okay. Okay. And then as I look at this, I see this one's really a little thicker than I thought it was. So I'm going to thicken it a little bit. Not too much. Not too much. You'll ruin the thing we're doing here. And then this one's still pretty thin. But I'm going to go up a little higher with it. There. Okay. All right. Okay. Now, he has eyelashes, believe it or not, and they're over his eye. And now I'm at the point where I'm going to put the shadow of the the eyelid over his eye. And that would be with indigo, watered down indigo. Right in here. Okay. There we go. Let that run a little bit with it. And he's got a little bit of it over here. Not much, because this eye's got most of the light on it. And a little bit in there. Okay. I'm going to soften that. Soften it. There. Okay. That's better. Kind of weird eyes, huh? Okay. All right, I'm hurrying. I'm going to hurry. Okay, I'm going to do a little bit of a nose, and I'm sure that'll probably be just about enough, huh? To give it a little more character. And I kind of take a lot of added a lot of stuff that probably shouldn't even be in there, but I do it anyway. Okay, I'm going to put a touch of alizarin in my opera for shadow. And that's the most gorgeous shadow against cad red to use. Yeah, it's a lot of fun, I think. I think it's a beautiful color. And through the years that I've been painting, it has changed more than any color out there. Used to be called alizarin. Then they call it permanent alizarin. And now they got another name. I don't know who. I think it's each company has to name it differently, is why I think that's why they do that. But anyway. Got 2 minutes?
Yep.
Okay.
You're good. 3 minutes.
Okay. So I'm gonna make his yes, she is, isn't she? Okay. I'm gonna make a little shadow on here so that you can make sense, and then a little shadow in his nostril there. And then the lines. All kitty cats have that silly little line. And their nose is not rounded on the bottom down here. It's got it's almost like a diamond coming down. When you cut the sharp diamond piece off. Okay, I guess it's time for me to go, huh? Okay, so is that enough to get you going?
Yes,
All right,
that's great.
okay.
Thank you, Georgia.
Yeah, take a look at my other stuff and you can look at their eyes and see what I've done. Yeah.
I think the most important thing that Georgia mentioned, she kept looking at her reference.
Yeah.
And looking. So the most important thing in painting is to observe. Not just observe, but really, really look.
Yeah.
And look again. And again.
That is the truth.
Yes.
And you should walk away from your work every 15 minutes at least. I mean, walk away. Way on the other side of the room.
Okay, walk away, Georgia.